All right, Kristi, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Jeremy. How are you?
Doing wonderful. So my name is Jeremy Williams. I'm the owner and CEO of Red Hawk Coaching, and today I've got the opportunity and pleasure to interview one of my coaching clients, and her name's Kristi Hernandez with Mid America Mortgage. And so, Kristi, I just want to take this opportunity to ask you a few questions. We're going to have some people viewing online, and if you have any questions out there, feel free to post them, and we'll address them as we get to the end of the interview. Kristi, I just wanted to give an opportunity for you to share with others, a recent opportunity you had, and what that's doing for you, your business. More importantly, your customers and clients, and the realtors that you're currently working with. So let's get started. Kristi, how long have you been in the business?
Oh, wow. I've been in the mortgage business for over 16 years, and I've actually been in total finance for almost 30 years.
Okay.
30 years.
30 years. So you've got some experience. So when somebody's coming to you, you've probably seen just about everything.
I have seen quite a bit of things. When I say things, different loan types, different situations for families. I've seen a great deal over the years, yes.
All right. So you just had an opportunity you moved to another company. Tell us about that. And I know you're really excited about it, so share with us.
I am. I love what I get to do. Making this decision to move companies was a very big decision. It's something that I took very to heart and prayed about and searched for the right company for me to grow my business and grow my team. And Mid-America Mortgage is a great opportunity for me to do that, to be able to go and help more customers, as I said a minute ago, to grow my team and to help me to help more people in this industry. So that is one of the reasons that I made the decision to grow. I now have a loan officer assistant, and that is helping me to take care of administrative side where I can concentrate on sales and going out and helping realtors and helping their buyers.
Awesome. So talk a little bit about that. I know it's your daughter, Nico. Tell me what got you to that place of making that decision to grow a team.
Well, actually, that was something you and I started. You and I talked about probably my second or third month into you coaching me was where did I see myself? Did I see myself doing everything forever? And I really hadn't. I had been contemplating it, but it was a step of faith, a leap of faith to go and say, I'm going to hire somebody and let go. And that's something that's quite hard for me because I like to, I don't want to call myself a control freak, but I like to make sure everything is done. And so hiring my daughter, her name is actually Nicole, so she's going to see this. I do call her Nico, and pretty much everybody else does. But for me to hire Nicole and bring her on was a big step for me of letting go and being able to get out and gather customers, help more people, get outside. But the biggest thing for me was trust. Trusting myself that I could actually let go of some things and get out to meet more realtors, to meet more buyers, to do seminars, things that would truly help me grow my business.
Yeah, so I coach a lot of real estate agents. I also coach an insurance brokerage. And what's amazing about small business, Kristi, and you know this, and you're seeing this, is that we find ourselves justifying that our busyness as success. And what we soon realize is that if we can leverage some of those things off, you can spend more time focused on the business and giving a higher level of customer service and those types of things that are really important to your customers and clients, and is also the springboard for you to grow your business to the next level. And
I think a lot of times when we are a one-stop shop, so to speak, like the loan officer, and we've done it a certain way for so long, we don't realize how much time we spend doing that busy work, that admin part of it, and still taking care of our customers, to the very end. So I think for a loan officer wanting to grow their business and to help their customers more, having a loan officer assistant is one of the best decisions that I made to do that.
Talk to me about the team that you just moved over to. You're sharing some information about a transaction that you're working on. We don't necessarily need to bring up the client's name, but I just want you to share what happened in that experience. How fast was the turnaround?
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so excited. I was so excited. So my very first deal that I brought with me to Mid-America Mortgage, it is a conventional loan, and the buyers were excellent. When I made this move, it's very hard. Another loan officer can tell you, you don't know when to stop. when to cut off one company and go to another company. And so I got to the point that I'm like, I've got to make my move. And so when I made my move, a week or two after I made my move, I had a vacation plan. My other daughter was getting married out of the country. And so there was a lot going on. And so here I am bringing my first loan into this company, and the processing team was amazing. I can't speak. And I have to say, I've had a great processor over the years. I've been truly blessed as a loan officer. My other processors were really great. But when I went to Mid-America, here I am out of the country the second week into the thing, and they are already going on my loan. So to get to the point of it, when a file goes into underwriting, typically a file, and this is general with a lot of companies, underwriting takes 24 hours. And that's just fairness to give the underwriter time to go over the file. My file went into underwriting on a Thursday afternoon, and I was, so happy. I emailed all my people, the borrowers and the realtors, and said, congratulations, we're in underwriting. It should come out 24 hours, very latest 48 hours. I'll let you all know when it comes out. And, sent my email, and it was 2 hours. 2 hours later, I got an email saying that my file had come in and out of underwriting, and that I had 4 conditions. And I was like, wow, I've never had that in this industry. And the funny thing is, one of the people, one of the coordinators on the realtors team, she was so funny. She was like, okay, tell me about this again. And then the other part of it that was quite amazing was the appraiser went out to do the work, but the seller had to be somewhere. And then, of course, the summertime, the appraiser had a vacation scheduled. So both things happened. It kind of put my time schedule, you would think, behind a day or two. But as soon as the appraiser came back in town, that appraiser went out that day, did my appraisal, and returned my appraisal to us. And that, again, made the coordinator on the sales team, go, really, that's never happened. And in all honesty, that's never happened to me either. So I am happy to say within less than 12 days, right about 12 days, my file has came in and out of underwriting. I'm clear to close. I've been clear to close for almost a week now, and we close next month. And the only reason we're waiting to next month is the buyers are selling their other home, and that's when their bank, their institution can close down. So I really think I was jokingly and said, did you roll out the red carpet for me? Is this the norm? And they all assured me that this was their norm process. So I was truly blown away as a loan officer.
That's amazing. I mean, it's really unheard of. And to think about the pressure and the stress that takes off your realtor client that represents the buyers, it's huge. And it's comforting to know that the clients are getting serviced that quickly. Real quick, we've got several people online. We've got Ken Munn, Pastor Ken Munn is watching. We've got Melissa Nelson's watching. Mary Ellen Turcop, she's in Australia right now.
I know. I'm calling her when we're done.
She's watching. She said hi. Tony Watley, great author, buys book, Side Hustle. He's watching, along with Adam Sicalo. I used to work with him at the YMCA years ago. We've got Eckhart Trejo, David Dunford, Kristi Hernandez, Brian West over at EXP, and part of my Eagles group, and then Claudia Garcia. Awesome. So if y'all have any questions, make sure that y'all post them here. So let's go back though to what you were talking about as far as the servicing of the client. Why is that important to you to have that type of service for your, not just only for the consumer that's purchasing the loan through you, and for the realtor that has entrusted you and oftentimes referred you to that client?
We, as being in the industry that you are from and I'm from, this is our normal everyday life. But to another person, buying a house is the biggest fear, and sometimes the biggest thing they're ever going to do. It's the biggest process they're ever going to go through, and sometimes the largest amount of money they're ever going to be responsible for, either paying back a loan or a large down payment or whatever the case may be. And for me as a loan officer to take that burden off that customer, it's a blessing, because when I was buying my first home, it seemed like every day I had to turn something in. Every day I had to, go back and do things. And I won't lie, that has happened before with people. We've had to regather some stuff, or the underwriters ask for some stuff. But this is a big step for a person. And so to have a team put together that again, I'm out of the country. And what I didn't share with everybody was I didn't have internet access. I had very limited internet access when I was on vacation. I always take my computer with me, and the resort had it where I had very limited access, and I was dying. I wanted to do what I needed to do. I had new customers coming in, but my company just stepped in and rolled right along with it. So I think for a couple things, one, the buyer, I think it put their mind at ease because this is a major transaction for them. For my realtor, first, I was very blessed that she shared this, the buyer with me and let me be their lender. But I think it also let them know that that they could go concentrate on new clients. This client was taken care of. The seller knows his client's taken care of. The buyer's agent knows this client's taken care of. Let's go concentrate on new buyers and new sellers and keep the business rolling where we're not having to keep touching this file every single day. So that, in a sense, is a big relief. And it's also a big accomplishment, so we can go concentrate on other things.
It is, and to have a team that's supporting you in the background like that is big for you as a business owner as well, because that gives you the platform and the ability now to take the business to the next level. You've got a huge support network that's behind you, making sure that things are making sure things are happening. The appraiser, going out on the same day, turning around the appraisal, going into underwriting and out of underwriting, and just 4 conditions need to be met in a few hours. That's amazing. So awesome. I wanted to ask you a few more questions. So, what makes you stand out? If I'm going to, there's a lot of mortgage brokers out there, and there's a lot of great mortgage brokers.
Mm-hmm, they're all great.
What makes you different? And before you answer that, just want to say hi to Mark Riscala. He's joining us, as well as Jan Briggs. She's watching now. Welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to post them. So, Kristi, what makes you different?
Goodness gracious. First of all, there are a lot of great mortgage lenders out there, and I'm blessed to say that I am friends with a great deal of them. And a lot of people think, why would you be friends with other lenders? Because we can partner with each other. We can help more people together. What sets me apart? I like to think what sets me apart is my service, my customer service. We are all great at what we do. A lot of us have a lot of the same products. But I think what sets me apart is my love for what I love to do. I have said this before, and I will always say what part describes me is I'm a servant at heart. I love to serve others. And being in this industry is a way to provide a service for people, to provide an excellent service for my customers, my buyers, and my realtors, because I'm able to go, and I always try to treat my customers the way I wasn't treated when I had my own very first loan. My husband and I, I was a banker, but we didn't know anything about this industry. So I don't look back at the negative part of it. I look back at it as a positive, because I want someone to walk away from this experience and go, we bought a house. This is awesome, and not worry. And so I think my nurturing, I'm a nurturing type person, and I like to serve. And I find that when I first serve my customers and my realtors, then it just becomes second nature to me. So I think that's something, and I know a lot of great lenders out there do the same thing. They have the same love, and it's important to them too. And you're probably going, wow, you're talking about other people, because we all do a lot of great things. We all are great. But for me personally, I think what sets me apart is my service, is my customer service, and my true love to what do I do.
Yeah, I think, and I coach that a lot with my coaching clients, is, having a servant's heart, and I call it the boomerang effect. When we stop looking at it as being a transactional business, if we stop looking at, what's the income that I'm going to make, and we really just look at what can we do to help people, you're going to be taken care of, right?
Yeah.
So it's having the servant's heart, making sure that, the service is in place. Kristi, you said a lot of people out there have that same heart and that same way of doing business, yet there's a lack of congruency between maybe who they are and how they feel and what actually takes place. And I see that there is congruency in your life and your business, that you do truly care, and you do deliver on that. Does that mean mistakes happen? No, it could always happen, right? We can't control everything in a transaction, yet I think you make the effort to make sure that none of that happens. And if bumps in the roads come up, I know you're the type of person who goes and you're a problem solver, not a victim.
Yeah.
And you take care of those issues so that, the customer doesn't have to worry. Your realtor clients that referred the customer doesn't have to worry because their name's on that, right?
Yeah. Well, and there's things that happen throughout loans. I always jokingly tell my customers, I can fix what I know. I can't fix what I don't know.
Right.
And so that's something, I'm like, tell me everything, because something may come up that we weren't prepared for. But if I know about things, then I can work my way through them. So, but it's like a little, joke that I have with my borrower. So, but yeah.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Okay, so we know what makes you different. Now, what's your big why? Why do you do this? Why don't you go do just another business working 8 to 5? Why do you do this? What's your big why? What drives you?
Oh, wow. 8 to 5. What drives me? I have to say what drives me is my family. My husband and I have been married 20 years, and we are a blended family. So when we came together 20 years ago, we both brought 2 children to the marriage, and we had a child together. As my kids have all grown, 3 of my kids have all gone. 2 of my 5 kids have already finished or almost finished college. One has, and my last one is in college. And one of my big whys was I look at debt every day. I look at student loan debt every single day, and my heart breaks because that's a great deal of debt that these young people, are trying to make a better life for themselves. And so one of my whys was we wanted to put our daughter through college and pay cash. And people may say, oh, that sounds arrogant. That sounds prideful. Please don't look at it like that. I didn't want my daughter going into an industry and debt falling behind her. Like I said, I do loans for lots of people. And sometimes I can't do a loan for someone because of the debt. And so it could be because of the student loans that they have. That is part of my why. I'll be honest. I live by a motto that says, to whom much is given, much is expected. And we do make very good money. I will be honest and say I do. I'm very blessed to make a good living, but I'm also a giver. We tithe, we give to missionaries, we give back because the Lord has blessed us in many ways. And so I believe with what I'm able to do, my why as what I do is who I am, which is a servant, and to serve is to serve my church, to serve my community, and to be able to serve it in financially ways. So, and I praise God that I may not get to know all the things that my husband and I have gotten to do to bless people over the years through finances, but that someday, we'll get to see the fruits of those labor. But it's basically my why is to serve, to help and give back.
Yeah, and you brought up being able to support your kids in college.
Mm-hmm.
Any parent out there that wouldn't want to do that, provide that opportunity.
Right.
Shouldn't be ashamed of that at all. I think that's
no.
And to be able to give, and I know your background, I know your values. It's the business is almost the vehicle, right? And it gives you the opportunity to do those type of things. So when people are doing business with you, it's not just to financially support your business. It's also to help others above and beyond, what they probably really even know, right?
Right.
All right, so I've got, just want to say hi to Andrew Smith. Andrew Smith's a John Maxwell coach.
I love John Maxwell.
Realtor. That's awesome. Love seeing you on here, Andrew. And that guy's amazing. He this last Saturday, or as he posted, he's like, I just got done with my 20-mile run.
Wow.
So, absolutely crazy. So a couple more questions.
Sure.
So we started working together. It's been a few months now. What was your decision process in hiring a coach? Why hire a coach?
Well, okay. So in all honesty, I actually had a coach a year ago, another group, and the group was awesome. What I got into was I didn't have the best coach that fit for me. So when the season was over, I hadn't talked to that coach for the last 6 months of it. And for me, it wasn't all about the money. It was about growing my business. I wanted to go to the next level. I didn't want to become stagnant. I wanted to stretch myself. I'm now 50 years old and I want to grow. I want to have a team. I want to teach people what I do to multiply so they can do the blessings and give. And so when it came to doing this again, I kind of walked in skeptical. I think you and I talked about that because how it had been with the other company. And truth be told, another person really felt bad for me that the coaching session didn't go so well the first time. And he was actually, another lender was kind of taking me under his wing and going over the things that I didn't get from the other company. So for me, coaching was a way for me to step out of what I knew and put into action what I can do. My husband is, for my husband, this is a big deal for him. Me doing this coaching is a huge deal because he feels, okay, Kristi, you know it, just put it in action. You don't need that anymore. And for some people that may be the case, but for me, I need that accountability. I need that, and for me, coaching has taken me from I want to I am. I want to grow my business and have an LOA. I have an LOA and I'm growing my business. I want to close more than a certain number of loans a year. I am closing a certain number of loans and growing. And another part of it was to see myself grow financially. I've gone from one set of income to another set of income. And I don't know that had I not been coached, well, I can honestly say had I not been coached, I would not have got an assistant. I would have continued doing what I was doing. And I may or may not have taken the offers that I was asked over the years to make that move as serious as I did to help me go to my next level.
Yeah. So, one of the things with hiring a coach is, being able to have that 30,000 foot perspective and being able to coach to the blind side, right? We all have them. I have them. There's things in my blind side that I don't see, and I've surrounded myself with individuals that help me with that through that as well. And so, it's amazing, Kristi, the growth that I've seen in you. And, I think you hit it is, instead of I want, I am.
Yeah.
There's that law of one equals lack. And, I've really seen you make a pivot in your business in a direction that is very positive. And, you're doubling up on the number of transactions that you're doing now. And I don't think that's the limit. So I see that only growing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I do too.
Well, before I ask you the next question, we got Chris Giet on the watching. That's Amber Giet's husband.
Oh, yay.
So Melanie Brechtel is watching.
Oh, hey, Melanie.
Hi to y'all both. Glad y'all are on here. I'm going to ask a couple more questions and we're going to wrap it up. So if there's anything that anybody in this group would like to ask, post it in the comments below and I'll make sure we get those questions answered. So tell me a little bit about what's happening in the mortgage industry right now. What do you see? What do agents need to know about? What do consumers need to know about that's on your radar?
Well, for me, what I'm seeing is growth. I'm not seeing it slow down. I'm seeing people still planning to buy homes. A lot of times people think that, summer's over and the big push is over and it's slowing down. A lot of people need to understand that the lender side is back. Where realtors are up 30 days in advance, the lenders were back 30 to 45 days behind of that trend. But excuse me, I am not seeing it slow down. I'm seeing people still wanting to get pre-qualified. I'm seeing, here we are, the anniversary of Harvey's passed. And that was such a devastating time last year. And, it took parts of Houston and even Kingwood longer than we anticipated. I don't think we had been through this since 1994 to recoup and bounce back and everything. So where some people are still in the midst of it, others are still growing with it. They're getting back in their homes. So what I would say is I'm seeing is a lot of people are still wanting to buy. They're not giving up. They've had a downturn. Maybe their company was slow for a while because of Harvey, or maybe their life got changed because of Harvey. But they're still wanting to get out there and to purchase a home. The loans that are out there, the 203H loan that was out, that disaster loan ended. It ended at pretty much the middle of August because we had to close people by the 25th of August or the 1st of September. But the other loans, the regular conventional FHA, VA, USDA loans are still out there. The renovation loans, people are actually seeing the big picture about buying a house now that is, a blank shell, and how they can make that their own. And that is, there is sometimes some things that happen that are sad. What happened with Hurricane Harvey was a very tragic and a very sad thing for a lot of people. But some people are actually taking what happened for the bad and turn it around for their good, or they may not have been able to buy a home at some point in time because of the cost of it, but now that they're lesser and they're having to do renovation loans, it's making doors for them to be able to do it. Some people also are taking advantage of the different down payment assistance that we have. A lot of teachers, the Home for Heroes, Home Sweet Homes, they're taking advantage of that where they might not before, but they are now with the down payment assistance.
Yeah, you bring up Harvey, and that was absolutely devastating. Being a Kingwood resident, 20% of the homes in our market and the higher-end homes of our market flooded. I've had several friends, several coworkers that have lost their homes. Many of them are starting to move back in and rebuilding, and it's amazing to see how resilient our economy is, because I know it just didn't impact Kingwood, it impacted Houston. And to continue to see the number of homes that are selling, the people that do see those as opportunities to make it their own, you're seeing a lot of growth. One of my favorite restaurants just opened this last weekend, Chimichurri.
No.
I've got my reservation set. I'm actually having lunch there tomorrow, and then I'm having dinner with my wife on Saturday. So had to get reservations for lunch.
I actually had where my husband and I are taking some friends to dinner this weekend, and I threw that out there. I was like, Chimichurri is back open and everything. So we love supporting the local communities, and we love those people are real to us. They're not just anybody. They're our friends and our family. So we get to give back to our friends and family. What better feeling it is for that?
Yeah, and I think it's important. I think it's important to have this discussion, just because there's maybe people from the outside that look at this area and think, well, I would never move there, or it's completely devastated. And actually, it's a very, very resilient community, and things are coming back even stronger than they were pre-Harvey. Is there still a lot of work to be done? Absolutely. Are there some houses that are may have to be torn down and rebuilt? Absolutely. Yet, for the most part, people are returning, staying, rebuilding, and the community has gotten stronger for it. Talking about storms, what do agents need to be aware of? I know it's not necessarily on your end, but it does impact having the loan. Let's talk real quickly about insurance.
Sure.
And storms in the Gulf, and what are some of the cutoffs there? Just to make some of the agents aware that might.
Sure. So, I'm very grateful that I work with a lot of good insurance companies that I'm great friends with that educate me all the time on it. So if a person's buying a home, and say there's something going on in the Gulf, an insurance company cannot bind anything while there's an active storm going on in the Gulf. It has to wait. What I tell people is insurance is something you pray you never have to use, but you have to have it, So what I would encourage people is know your area. I was sitting at a closing, and they were saying that the plats were supposed to be out in May. They didn't, change the plat sheet. It was supposed to be done in August. They hadn't changed the plat sheets. And to some people, they're like, why is that important? Well, you can buy flood insurance, as even though your area may have flooded, if a person's buying a house that had flooded, but they're buying that house now, they could get in at the regular, original price of flood insurance. And if the plat changed later, well, they were already grandfathered in. So I think the big importance when it comes to is for homeowners is, here we are in hurricane season. We live in Houston, Texas, and we are close to the Gulf. From June 1st until November 30th, I think the date is November 30th, we're in hurricane season, and this is just part of our DNA. I would encourage everybody, if you actually have the ability to get flood insurance, even if you're not in a flood zone, as a lender, if you're not in a flood zone, we don't require you to have flood insurance, but where we're at, and because things can happen, have that peace of mind. That amount of money is so worth it. I'm sure, I wish more people had it last year, and I know they do too. But for the ones that did have it too, they're grateful that they had it and are getting help to rebuild their houses. But I would encourage anybody, you mentioned a minute ago that, Kingwood is great and thriving. I wouldn't live anywhere else. We live on the outskirts of Kingwood. We live in Summerwood, and it is the most wonderful area. This whole vicinity, Humboldt, Tascasita, Kingwood, it's all a great place to live. But going back to the insurance is be knowledgeable, understand what you're getting, understand your policy, understand what we as a lender need and what we don't need. I was very blessed by another insurance agent that looked at my policy I'd had for 5 years and hadn't realized that I was paying for something I didn't need. So, take advantage of an insurance agent's expertise. They're an expert in that area, and learn from them, and find out.
Yeah, the biggest thing is that, the agent needs to be knowledgeable about the insurance policy, because you can't close the loan unless you have.
No, insurance has to be bound before we can close the loan. And so if it's already bound, then we're safe.
Right. So just be aware as we're going into the storm season, if you're listening, that could play a role in your loan officer's capability of closing. So,
well, one last thing. So as a buyer, if you're buying a home and you buy your flood insurance at the time of closing, it goes into effect immediately. If you don't, it has to wait. It's a 30-day waiting period. So you may buy your home when we close August 15th, and it does not go into effect till September 15th. So if you're going to get it, might as well get it at closing, and that way you're safe. You don't have to worry about the waiting period.
All right, last question. Anything that you would impart if somebody is watching today that, let's say, they want to enter the mortgage industry, where do they start?
Oh, wow. Goodness gracious. I would say if somebody was going to enter the mortgage industry, I was very blessed. I started with a builder. I spent 7 wonderful years in the builder business. I actually was a processor. I didn't start off being a loan officer. I started being a processor, and I think that's helped me over the years greatly because I understood both sides of it. But if I was going to do this all over again, I think I would start where I started from, because being with the builder business, you learn a great deal. You're fed business, so to speak. You have communities that are that you work at, basically. I would say if anybody is looking to get in this business, it is not a quick turnaround. A lot of people think that, we all run around and look at houses and, that's all we do. And then that's nowhere near what a lender does or a realtor does. But it is a wonderful industry to be in. It is not for the faint at heart, because you have the responsibility to help a family become a homeowner. You have a responsibility to help change lives. And it's a process. And so my daughter Nicole is looking to become a loan officer, and I'm like, hold on, learn what I do. But it's the best industry I could ever be in. I would say get your oh my goodness gracious, now I'm losing my train of thought. When it comes to being a lender, it's on hands. There's tests to take, and there's things to learn with the guidelines and so forth. But you can take what you know and show that with what you do. I think a lot of people just go out there and start as a lender and start fresh, and sometimes they do great at it. Like I said, it's just a wonderful industry to be in. And if I was to start all over again, I'd probably do the same thing I did, start with a builder and work my way up.
Awesome. And I'm sure if anybody ever asked you questions, you'd be open to answering those, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, I would do my best.
And, I'll just put in a self plug is hire a coach. Hire somebody that can navigate you, not necessarily from what to do as far as the loan, but navigate you as far as how to build a business, how to avoid some of those pitfalls that could be easily fallen into, as with any sales or any business, especially a small business owner, an entrepreneur. There's always a risk, yet if you have somebody that's guiding you along that path, that risk starts to diminish.
I would encourage somebody, if you want to do this business, is to partner with somebody who's already doing it and learn from them and let them be your mentor. It's kind of like going back with biblical. The word of God says the younger ones learn from the older ones. And that's the same thing in this industry. I got to learn from some people that were seniors to me, but mentored me and brought me in. And I could list, 5 really great people that still stand out in my mind that really took time to teach me everything I needed to know about being a great lender, not just being a lender, but being a great lender. And that's, I think, is very important.
Yeah, I was having that same conversation on Facebook last night. It was actually Tony Watley's 365 Driven group. It's a great group to get into if you're an entrepreneur. Just go submit your request and he'll add you. It was somebody that's wanting to be a restaurant owner, and they didn't want to be a franchise type restaurant. They wanted to be the mom and pop place in a small town. And that was exactly the advice I gave them, is don't do anything until you've gone and you've spent some time with those that have already done it.
Yeah. And
then make that decision to move forward. So, because there's so much wisdom and value in that. And I think a lot of people miss that. They just want to go for it. And they miss that opportunity to get there. It's basically the shortcut, right? That's what I call myself as a coach, is the ultimate.
There's no shortcuts.
Right. But you can squeeze that time down, right? If you have those people that are there to guide you and share their experiences, where they failed, where they succeeded, and can get there faster. Well, Kristi, I appreciate it. I'm looking. I don't see any questions. A lot of people watching. No questions this time around. They could always go back in and post a question later. We can
Sure.
do that. I want to thank you for taking the time today, and I'm excited about where you're going in your business as your coach, and I can only imagine what you're going to be doing in 5 years. So thank you again for your time today.
Thank you, Jeremy.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
All right. See you later, everyone.